Hey guys, it's me. Number 10. The Tower of London Ghosts. The Tower of London is an ancient fortress located in the heart of England's capital city. Throughout its long and storied history, it has served as a royal palace, a prison, and even the seat of government. Today, it is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the UK. But many people don't realize that it's also supposedly one of the most haunted places in the country. According to legend, there are at least 2 ghosts that roam the ramparts of the tower, if not more. There have been hundreds of executions and deaths within its walls over the centuries, which means there's no shortage of restless spirits. Some say the ghost of Anne Boleyn can be seen wandering the tower, searching for her lost daughter. Others claim to have seen the apparition of a small child who is believed to be the ghost of the young prince in the tower, who was murdered in the 17th century. Then there are the many people who have reported hearing disembodied footsteps, voices, and screams echoing throughout the tower, even though there is no one else around. If you visit at night, you might even see or hear the ghost of Lady Jane Grey, the so-called 9-day queen, who was imprisoned here before being executed at just 17 years old. In this video, we will look at some of the most famous ghosts that are said to haunt the Tower of London and try to determine whether they are simply figments of our imagination or something more. Let's start with Lady Jane Grey, a young woman who was thrust into the spotlight when she became Queen of England at the age of 16. She only held the throne for 9 days before being forced to abdicate in favor of her cousin, Queen Mary I. But during her short time as monarch, she made a number of enemies who would later seek to destroy her. After Jane refused to accept Mary's coronation, she was imprisoned in the Tower of London. Along with her father and brother, she was charged with treason and beheaded at the age of just 17. Many people believe that her ghost still haunts the tower, and there have been numerous reports of a ghostly sighting over the years. Some say she can be seen walking along the ramparts or sitting on the edge of the moat, lost in thought. Others claim to have heard her voice calling out for help, or felt a cold spot where she died. Whether these stories are true or not, they have helped to make Jane one of the most famous figures associated with the tower. But she is by no means the only one. Another well-known ghost is that of Anne Boleyn, who was the second wife of King Henry VIII and the mother of his daughter, Princess Elizabeth. However, her relationship with Henry was a turbulent one, and he eventually had her arrested on charges of adultery and treason. She was then taken to the Tower where she spent her final days before being executed. According to legend, Anne was so distraught over her impending death that she gave birth to her daughter, also named Elizabeth, inside the tower. And it is said that the newborn baby was then killed on Henry's orders so that Anne could not use her as leverage against him. Both Anne and her daughter are said to haunt the tower, with Anne often seen wearing 16th century clothing and her daughter appearing as a small, sad-faced child. Moving on to one of the most tragic figures associated with the tower, the ghost of the 2 princes in the tower, who were the sons of King Edward IV and Elizabeth Woodville. Unfortunately, both boys died while living within the tower walls, making it one of the deadliest places for royalty. In 1483, when Richard, Duke of Gloucester, later known as Richard III, came to power, he had both nephews murdered so that he could take the throne for himself. Their bodies were never recovered, but it is believed that they may have been buried under the staircase in one of the tower's buildings. Since then, people have reported hearing the sound of children's footsteps and voices echoing through the tower, as well as seeing the apparitions of 2 young boys dressed in medieval clothing. While there is no definitive proof that the princes ever died within the tower, there is certainly enough evidence to suggest that their ghosts may forever be trapped there. And speaking of children, another ghost that is said to haunt the tower is that of Margaret Pole, Countess of Salisbury, who was executed in 1541 on the orders of King Henry VIII. What makes Margaret's story particularly sad is that she was an innocent victim of the king's paranoia. She had opposed the break with the Roman Catholic Church and was accused of plotting to assassinate him. After being found guilty, she was sentenced to death and taken to the tower where she spent her last days before being beheaded. Many people believe that Margaret's ghost can still be seen walking the grounds of the tower, searching for her son, who died shortly after her execution. Her story is a tragic reminder of the many innocent people who have been caught up in the conflicts between the monarchy and the church throughout history. Another notable ghost is that of Sir Thomas More, who was Lord Chancellor of England under King Henry VIII. He was a staunch opponent of the king, his decision to break with the Roman Catholic Church and establish the Church of England, and ultimately paid for his beliefs with his life. He was charged with treason and executed in 1535. His head was cut off and displayed from the tower, supposedly to warn others who might oppose the king. Since then, his ghost has been seen wandering the streets of London, looking for his severed head. More's story is an important part of the history of the Reformation in England, and he is remembered as a martyr by many Christians. One more ghost we need to talk about before we go is that of Lady Catherine Parr, who was the sixth and final wife of King Henry VIII. She was a devout Protestant and used her position as queen to promote the new religion. After Henry's death in 1547, she married Thomas Seymour, a member of the royal family. But their relationship was short-lived as she was accused of adultery and treason and executed in 1548. Some people believe that she was actually innocent, and that she was simply a victim of the political machinations of her husband's brother, Edward Seymour, who wanted to marry her instead. Lady Catherine's ghost is said to haunt the Tower, as well as the streets of London, where she is seen wearing 16th-century clothing and carrying a book of prayers. Now, these are just a few of the many ghosts that are said to haunt the Tower of London. Whether these stories are true or not, they add an eerie and mysterious atmosphere to this already imposing structure. It is impossible to know for sure if these ghosts are real, but that doesn't stop people from believing in them and sharing their stories. After all, the Tower has a long and bloody history, and it is hard to imagine that all of those who died there would simply move on without a trace. So, what do you think? Do these stories make you want to visit the Tower, or stay as far away from it as possible? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm your host.